Welcome back to another live stream here on twitch.tv/Asuma, playing on the Hermitcraft server. Lots of bananas are in chat. Thank you for the bananas. Bananas mean we're live. It's also nighttime. Let's sleep in a bed. That's done. Wonderful. Efficient. Very fast. I agree. Death in a Box has resubscribed for 2 months in a row. And Lizzie Best is here resubscribing for 15 months in a row, saying, Asuma, I'm back for more. And what's really hilarious is this subscription expires Christmas Eve. Wait, it's the 21st today. A month from... I'll pretend that I understand exactly what you just said. Thank you ever so much for your support. Truly appreciate it. Peeps, we'll be talking and chopping trees today as we are going to prepare the Christmassy area and transform this biome into a snowy one. I realise as I say that, might it be easier to actually leave the trees in place? Can we have a snowy biome with the tree? There's a lot of chopping to do, I'm thinking. I think actually we'll start off with some land transformation. Muted mic, someone says. No, the mic is not muted. Everyone can hear me, right? I'm literally seeing the audio go up and down on the other side. Mukaha says, nice job spoiling the Christmas tree. I haven't spoiled it. Joe's been building that. It's been in his episodes. Jeez. Right, let's throw down these boxes because I believe, yes, we got lots of this stuff in which we're going to need. Because we're going to fill in these rivers and then we can build on them. Wait. Some people are saying they can't hear me. Some people are saying they can. Wait, can we get an audio check? Like, according to this, y'all should be able to hear. Okay, lots of people are saying we can't hear you. Right, gotcha. Alright then. Joe must be in the area. Spinning cow! So we shall start here with our transformation. We're going to be filling in rivers and such. Do you know what I really want to be doing? I wanted to be doing this. I've been waiting to do my stream all day. But what I really want to be doing is building an emerald farm now. Because I've been dreaming away to make one with the new bounded box. It'd be the same old thing you've seen time and time again, right? They add something, we use the old farming concepts and turn it into a farm. That cow is still spinning, man. That cow is having a great time. Red Ixicon Inc. says, hey, it's the first time that I am in an Asuma stream. So cool, welcome to the stream, buddy. Welcome to the stream. I was just thinking, maybe we don't always fill it in at this level here. Maybe sometimes we fill it in one level above. Another thing I've just realised is that we're going to cover the entire area in snow. Why would I fill in this if it's just going to get covered in snow? There's also a very big area to cover in snow. So maybe we should make the snow farm first. I don't think I even have like any snow in my ender chest. X, what happened? You already have 14 derps. Oh. Oh, the program never executed. How very odd. Will it run now? Oh, what's this? Okay, there's a problem with derp.exe. Wait, it is running? What's going on? Let's try that again. Spangle Boost says, don't cover it in snow, cover it in snowmen. If we can make snowmen. Okay, I think it's working now. Would I have any snow blocks, or do I have to go on a journey? Oh, I spent ages thinking everything through. Then I get here and it's so different when you're actually doing the thing, right? Then you're like, oh, wait a minute, what about this? What about that? So I guess we want to get ourselves to a nether portal. Snowman is probably the way to go, actually. I hope they can live in that area. Right, I need to find a portal. Don't splat into the wall. Oh! You see, False will have one in her base, but I just don't know where it is. So, I guess actually the nearest portal that I know of... Actually, I don't know what is the nearest one. Let's just fly over here. Snow on the Mountain X. Some of the peaks that I was just near. Ah, well done. Well done you in chat. Of course. Well done. Oh my goodness me. We've got extreme hills. I was going to fly all the way to a snowy area. What we need... No, we don't need that. That's not what we need. Where's my other shovel? That's... Where has it gone? I've lost my other shovel. Oh. Oh, what? Everything is just not computing. Everything is not working today. Now. I think it's just been a long day. That's what it is, really. It's just been a long day. I feel exhausted, to be fair. Did you plague to... What is that? Space says poor X and his lost shovel. I mean... I don't know where it went, but I definitely had a shovel in my inventory earlier. We also need a pumpkin. Jeez, I am so unprepared. I like how unprepared I am. Right, so this will be more than enough, I famously said. So next thing would be a pumpkin. I mean, is there literally one in eyesight? Sometimes they're just out there in the wild. We got more noises in the ear, by the way. Kitty Gaming 99 is here, resubscribing for 12 months in a row, which is a whole year. A whole year, Kitty Gaming says. That's a whole year. Thanks for the great content, X. Thank you ever so much for a year of support. I hope you enjoy your Goldie Face in chat. We got Blind Nick Namer 5478 resubscribing for 4 months in a row, saying, "Hey X, can't say I've been following Hermitcraft too closely this season, but I'm glad to be subbed to you on Twitch. Great work, keep it up. P.S. What are you currently working on?" Working on the new area for the Christmassy season. Blind Nick, thank you so much for your support. And Other Fire Angel is here subscribing with the Prime. Thank you ever so much. Truly appreciate the support as always. Pumpkin on the hill, says Mr. Pex. Literally? Is there literally a pumpkin on a hill? Because there might be a pumpkin patch. I think I see like a couple of stair blocks over there just on their own. Okay, I really don't see any pumpkins. I think that's wishful thinking right there. So do I have... I think I just got pumpkins back at my base. We'll just go over there and pick them up. I bet these things are going to die in this biome, though. I've just got that feeling. I've got that feeling nothing's going to be easy. That biome is massive as well. I'm starting to wonder if I should really do the whole thing or not. Yeah, let's wishfully look for some... Look, there's some more stairs. Okay, so there's 2 stairs there, right? Did I see some stairs just over here a moment ago? On my right-hand side. Yeah, look. Why are there just random sandstone stairs in pairs? Oh, do you know who's got some pumpkins? Cub fan. I'm pretty sure he's got a pumpkin farm. And you know the convex. They won't mind us coming over here and pinching something. Joe Hill's made benches. Ah, okay. Oh, if they had like trapdoors on the side, then they would really look like benches, and that would be very cool. Right, let's head in here. This is a cool looking place right here. I'm liking these. Gee, there's a lot of cake. It's the worst food in the game. It's a lot of effort for the worst food in the game. No saturation. Literally the worst food in the game. Like, what am I looking at? Oh, wait, what's here? Melon, pumpkin. Okay. Cub fan won't mind. Cub fan's a sport, peeps. Okay, he's a sport. I'll take a few of those just in case our experiments somehow fail. There we go. No one tell Cub I was here. I'm now actually worried. There might be some convexical spells cast my way. We got noises in the ear from Chewy Berry and Theoden. Thank you to the both of you for subscribing. By the way, I got a hot cup of tea with me here today. Your shovel is above your bow in your inventory, says Ace. Ah, no, I have two, but I have two shovels, a Silk Touch and a Fortune one. No, it's the best, says Pro Colin. I'm serious, if you only ate cake, it would be a nightmare. It's got no saturation, it can't heal any hearts. It's literally terrible. You will now be cursed with a bad omen, says Mr. Pex. That's now a thing, isn't it, the bad omen? Tasty tea. Toaster says what flavour? It's English breakfast decaf. I was very tempted to treat myself with a mocha, but I resisted. Richie says there has been a new snapshot release. I believe that there has been a video about the new snapshot release put out on my channel. That's what I believe. Will you race Grian, says Redstone. I mean, he's not online, and how would I race him? In what way would you like me to race him? Around the server, do a lap in boats, flying? What sort of race is this that you're requesting? Fairly certain steak is the best food, says Hugo Big Dog. The best food is actually, in 1.14 it will be Strange Brew. Strange Mysterious Stew. That one. Okay, there we go. We're finally up in the air. Currently it would be Golden Carrots. That has the most saturation. The saturation is good because saturation heals your hearts. The hunger bar thing is not as important as saturation. Right, let's head down into this area. We have to snowify the entire island. And I bet they're I just know it. I just know that they're going to die, and then I'm going to think, actually, I should really rethink a whole project that we're doing here. Wait, that's... Oh, you got to carve it. Oh! Oh, I've got to carve it. Wait, what was it you right-click it with? Shears. Jeez. More things, more steps. Okay, you've been sheared. You're done been sheared. Please don't die, Mr. Snowman. Yes! The snowman lives! Ladies and gentlemen! Hermitcraft Christmas has been saved! The snowman lives. Go forth, my snowy friend, and pollute thy area with thy snow. And make this a blessed holiday for all. For all who wish for a snowy Christmas on the Hermitcraft. Yes. Move! Go running! Chase things! Buddy, why are you standing still? Why you gotta be standing still? We need to produce an army of these. Why did I take 16? Like, we literally need to make an army of snowmen. Also, that's Joe over there right now, isn't it? Oh, we should give Joe a friend. We're gonna give Joe a friend. Hang on. Right, grab that. Hey! We got one on a tree. And you're doing the job. You're doing the business. Excellent. Get to work. Roam around. This guy knows what to do. That's right. You march over there. Oh. Does rain doesn't... Does rain hurt the snow golems? Oh, it probably does, doesn't it? We need to set up a farm anyway. That's what we're here to do. Then we can farm snow. We can make lots of these suckers. And all is good in the hood, homie. Tasivia says, please pull many snowmen with the leashes. Oh, that's such a great idea. That's such a wonderful idea. Hi, cow. So let's start off with By the way, I have a... Oh, maybe I put my shovel in here. Aha! I found it. Wonderful. Okay, that's good. We got to start off with remembering how this is done. You need to kind of look upwards, have some hoppers, and a... Yeah, I know what to do. In my head, I know what to do. Okay. So I have 3 hoppers. We're off to a great start. I need 1 more. Actually, I probably need a fair bit more than that. Shear the pumpkin off. Oh! People are saying, wait. So... If I shear... Now, I wonder where you are. Oh, you haven't even moved. Do I get the pumpkin... Hey, what happened there? I don't get the pumpkin back, because if I got it back, then I could just use it to make another one. Oh, that's great. We got noises in the ear from SAS9602, resubscribing for 12 months in a row. That's 1 year and a goldie face right there. Our kid is now 3 months old, winky face. Ah, I see that the baby is growing up. I like it. Appreciate it, SAS. Thank you as always. I am just realising that streaming today was probably not the best of my ability right now. I'm a bit zonked after having to sit at the computer for ages doing the snapshot video. I really find it difficult to sit and not do anything for a long time. I feel like I need to move about. And I went for a cycle this morning. I got up and I went, I'm going to go for a cycle. Squirrel Warrior says, "Low, I love derpy snowmen. They're wonderful, aren't they? They're wonderful." Let's go ahead and grab you. Make some chests. Sweet. Okay, so now we are going to... Let's place a few chests like this. So we'll build it high up so there's lots of room for storage. Although, to be fair, you're not going to need this much storage for snow. In fact, yeah, it's actually kind of ridiculous to even dream of having this much. Like, you're going to come here and take what you need from it. So let's get realistic. We're going to have it like that. And this space right here is where we're going to put the snowman. So now we need something to encase it with. I think I might be able to use fence posts for this instead of using some iron. Let's go ahead, grab a few of these. Yeah, this should... wait a minute. No, it's got to be one higher. Otherwise the snow don't settle. Okay, so we need to get one of you over here. Which means I need 2 snow blocks. And one of these sheared. A bit of morning for a cycle, X. How far did you go? Says the beast. Not very far. Just did a lap round the town, and it was cold, but I could deal with it. What really sucked though was my hands. When I came back after, they were frozen. Like the circulation had stopped, and the feeling when your hands have gone really, really cold and they got to warm back up again is kind of awful. Like it was just not very nice. I've just realised something important here. Oh no! Oh, I thought I'd need a piston to do that bit. Ah yeah, and then you don't... So maybe some soul sand is required here. Hashtag buy Asuma cycling gloves. I actually had 2 lots of gloves on, which... Wait a minute, that means Joe's watching the live stream. Good to have you here, Joe. Unless you're some sort of psychic wizard, which might be possible. Yeah, I had 2 layers of gloves on, and I think that might have actually been part of the problem, that when you put on too many layers, you got to remember when you cycle, your hands are pressed into the cycle bar, like the handlebar. Sorry, wrong word. So that in itself will like cut off the circulation from your palms, like out to your fingers. So thinking this through again, actually I can... Yeah, I don't need to do what I was going to do. I can do that. Aha! Now we've got the sand. Right, and it only needs to be on 1 block, but we can put it on all of these. One problem about using soul sand is that it's going to be very easy to accidentally hit it, which we don't want to do. But because we've got 4 of them here, hopefully that won't be a problem. So let's grab our shovel. Let's go like this. Let's find where these things went. We're going to get rid of that. And we'll just make it go down one block deeper. Okay, so we don't have chests. 1 and 2. Do that. Do this. And I know some of it's going to come off the side, so we probably need like some surrounding blocks as well. This is going to look ugly with cobblestone. Can I? Let's just give it a try. So if I come here and I aim between those two. Oh. What's changed? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, something's changed. Well, anyway, Metamorphic Mike is here doing some cheers and bits saying Derpy Snowman Army Hype. We're going to get there, my friend. We're going to get there. We're going to get a Derpy Snowman Army. I like it. Mike, thank you so much for the bits. Appreciate your support. CrazyMan66 is here, resubscribing for 4 months in a row saying, hey, Asuma, how are you today? I'm good, thanks. A little bit on the tired side, to be fair. Peeps are saying Silk Touch Shovel. Yes, Silk Touch Shovel. If I remember correctly, it's because this thing is actually on a lowered block now. I mean, I'm thinking back to Season 5, and I used... Oh, and I guess... Oh, we're going to have to bust out the pistons. I'm not liking this. My inventory is, like, full up. I've got loads of... It's just... Everything's a clutter right now. It needs some organisation. Okay, so let's chuck that in there. Let's get rid of some junk into this one. Just make things look a little nicer. More manageable. There we go. That's better already. And I should probably put the bed down because it'll be night before long. Okay, so we need some piston action. And, oh, I do have a regular piston. That's good. Let's do some experimente. Experimente. This is interesting. Like, when did this change? Let's have a read of chat. Man says X no heads in the shulker box. I know, but I'm just... It's not hardly any difference. It's just going to take up a space in my inventory, or I'll put it there later. Like, I don't get why is this one now not... It's like you don't want to... Okay, wait, let's get you back that way. You're going to wander off, aren't you? Right, so these are in our way. Let's get you back in there making snow. No, do not walk away. Oh, why do you have a mind of your own? I think we're going to have to make another one. Joe's here. So I need to get rid of my Silk Touch shovel and replace it with a different shovel. Only one each time I use it. I might as well use that then. Yeah, actually, let's use this up first. Okay, another noise in the ear. It's Justra. Subscribing with the Amazon Prime. There's a name I recognise. Jeez, is it the Justra? The Justra of... Let me see. Oh, like 2013, 2012? Juicera. That's what I always used to say. I'm now scanning chat. There's no message with this one. Also... Oh no, we also read out Crazy Man. Justra Waves. Wait. Did Joe steal the heads? If he did, I don't care. No, he didn't steal the heads. People saying he stole them. Can't believe it. Right, let's find out. Catching me off guard. Keep forgetting about that. Right, let's place that here. Do that. Do this. Manage my inventory again. Joe says he was looking for them. Quick! Oh, okay, put them back in my inventory. Extreme Enforce some more. Okay, going to put that up here. Push this one in. And then... Right, what we've got to do is use... No, we do have the right shovel. Oh! So it does work with stuff. Maybe the last one was just being cheeky. Okay, so we had a cheeky one. Typical. Actually, I've got a feeling it might be the block here that's essential. Because with the soul sand... Yeah, when it's on the soul sand, it's not level with a block. That might be why it wasn't actually doing this before, and now it will. So that's great, except for this corner. But do you know what? I don't think I really care to make this a perfect contraption or anything. I just want to get going here and get an army of goofballs around the place, you know? Hashtag goofball army. That's what I want to see. Justra says, I am indeed me. That is awesome, buddy. It's been such a long time. I hope everything's going well for you. Apparently there is a Tango Z raid. Ah, now I know what was being asked by Tango. I see, you cheeky devil. Trying to raid me, are you? Actually, I'll tell you what, I welcome all the raiders. Also, Danix, TIR, has subscribed with the Prime. Thank you. Appreciate it. Also, welcome to all of the raiders from ZF and Tango stream. I see they're both still on. What was wrong with the snowman farm, says Metamorphic Mike? I believe by having all soul sand, it meant that the snowman was not standing on... Like, it wasn't on top of a block. So it wouldn't make snow. But now we can make it in abundance. And we can start to create a snowman army. Of which we're going to have to do a lot of shearing of the pumpkins. And then we can start to make the area truly snowy. Which is wonderful. Light Horizon has subscribed with Amazon Prime. Not Peter Parker has subscribed with Amazon Prime. And Mystic Golden Dragger has also subscribed with Amazon Prime. I appreciate it ever so much. Also, I'm thinking now is a good time to do some plugs, you know. We got some new people coming over here. Peeps, we are approaching 9,000 on our Discord server. If you would like to join us and help us get over 9,000 members, that would be wonderful. Discord.gg/Asuma for our Discord community. And also, my second channel is going to hit 100,000 subscribers in a few days by the looks of it. Maybe even sooner if people want to head over there and subscribe. It has been like a mission of mine for a while to get like that channel to 100,000 subscribers. It's been a little bit of a goal, I guess, because it was just a place to put the live streams and other stuff, and you know, slowly over time it grows. Then I started putting the Minecraft news thing there because I wanted to do that as an experiment, and it was really fun. And then the channel steadily grew, so I, you know, started doing some of the strategic SEO stuff over there that I do on my main channel, and it actually started to work. It started to really grow the channel, and it's going to hit 100,000 real soon. So if you want to head over there, it'd be wonderful if you gave it a subscription, you know. I heard Iskal made a Grian head vault, says Bella, and in my video tomorrow you will see me raid the vault. The noises in the ear just keep coming in right now. We got Pony Butts here doing cheers for own bits, saying party 500. I had a bit war with someone earlier, but I still got some biddies left over. Heck yes. Poogers. Thank you as always, Pony, for the bits. Appreciate it. There's a wolf over here. Hope you're enjoying the stream. This nerdy stream that nerdy people watch. I can't resist. I can't resist. Grum Blem C has subscribed with Amazon Prime, and Tissevia has subscribed with Amazon Prime as well. Thank you ever so much for the support as always, peeps. Darren Badger Spanner has gifted us up to Sorrel 1010. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for supporting someone else in the community. Appreciate it. Darren also says in chat, Pony, you nerd. You heard it right there. You see the other peeps are onto you, Pony. They're onto you. Watch out. They know what you're about. I've now got a Minecrafty mind question. We have to punch out all of the grass in order for the snow to spread everywhere. So there is work to be done. But these snowmen are just the beginning of it, you know? They're just the beginning of it. And they will die when it rains. But they will do a wonderful job beforehand, I hope. We also got to get rid of some of these torches. That's another problem. Can water buckets still kill grass X? Yes, it can, Joe. Yes, it can. It'll also kill snow layers as well. But that's not really a problem because they're kind of redoable. So what we're going to need to do is have the snow go everywhere. And then we don't have to put lights down because the snow stops mob spawning. So it can be dark, but it's a careful balance. If you take away the lights straight away, you might run into some problems. Rightio then, I guess we're going to go raid Cub, but I feel like I should ask him if I'm going to raid his resources. Like, we could take stacks and then, you know, really get this thing rolling. I'll drop him a message on Discord. We also got a noise in here from Metamorphic Mike. Doing cheers, throwing bits. Oh, what have I clicked on? I've now made it disappear. Saying, did I hear bit war? You may have done. I believe there is a bit war going on right now. Speaking of the bits, very soon we will have bit badges that have been in the works for a while. I've been excited for them. Cub's gone away. I think he'll be cool with me taking like a stack, but nothing more than that I think would be a bit cheeky. Badges, says Pony. Yes, yes, bit badges are on the way. I won't say much about it. I just got a really cool idea. It's inspired by a game called Cannon Fodder that I played when I was a kid. And I had an artist who's been working on it for a while, and it's very nearly done. It's like 95% done. So I'm hoping like next stream or next week's, you know, real soon we should have the bit badges finished. And they're going to be cool. So Pony Butts is here, doing cheers, throwing even more bits, saying, you want to go fam? You want to go fam? That's some London slang right there, exported globally. Bruv. What are crinkles, says Vicaroo. Crinkles is the music that you're listening to. Love it. Oh, love it. That's wonderful. Hi X, love your laugh, says It's a Boy. I'm glad you do. There's lots of laughing on these streams. And Darren Bancher Spanner is here. Perhaps joining in the bit war. Just with a poke and a rip cheer. Thank you ever so much for the bits. Truly appreciating the support as always. Hope you're all enjoying the stream. The Royal Quartet says, what's the origin of the pre-stream bananas? Yeah, I just think I asked one day, I wasn't sure if we were live or not, and I was like, just put bananas in chat if you can hear me, and then it just stuck and it became a thing. Dude, this guy's got so many pumpkins, I'm sure it's not a problem. Let's take that many for now. We're going to get 64. That's our goal. We're going to get... Nope, wrong one. We're going to get 64 pumpkin warriors. Snow warriors. I don't know what to call them. Father Apocalypse says, I was watching Tango's stream yesterday, and it took forever to get the right code/block. When Tango got in the vault, he was killed by Iskall. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I was not aware of this happening. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. And we got Marine Tuck subscribing with the Prime. Marine Tuck, thank you ever so much for your subscription. I appreciate it and hope you enjoy today's live stream. Hi X, just got here. What are you working on? Says Mech. We're working on the Christmassy area. I'm so glad that those snowmen were able to spawn up here. That's wonderful. Since when are you playing Minecraft? Says Julius. I started playing Minecraft last week and, you know, I really like it. I know I've been a Call of Duty player and streamer for the last 8 years, but I just, you know, thought I'd try this Minecraft thing. It turns out it's really quite fun, this game. Alright, so now we need 2 stacks of snow blocks. Let's get that done first. We can have a waffle. Alright. Oh, shouldn't have said that word, damn it. I need to drink more tea. My belly's rumbling now. Oh god, almost spilled it down my top. Had to take a big gulp. Hamstap says XVX waffle. You know, it could become an emote because I really like waffles. I had waffles a couple of weeks ago with dark chocolate and peanut butter and ice cream. Ah, oh, so good. So good. I have a confession to make, right? I started eating a little bit of dark chocolate because I heard some good stuff about it. Alright, all this, oh, you know, cocoa, that's actually quite healthy for you. I should probably investigate just how healthy it is, because I'm eating a lot of cocoa now, okay? I brought myself 2 bars of 100% pure dark chocolate the other day, and after every meal, I have to nibble down on a couple blocks of it. And there's no added sugar, nothing like that. I love it. It took me a while to get used to the taste, but now I'm just hooked on it. Dark chocolate is fantastic. And where I've been exercising, working out, you hear me talk about it all the time, I know. Where I've been doing that so much, I can now afford to treat myself more often. Although I'm trying to keep it to like once or twice a week that I, you know, have something a little treat-like. Caffeine in chocolate X, says Sham Bassam. Excuse me. I guess, well, it is pure cocoa that I'm eating. I guess it can have other things in it. MPS says, I literally eat dark chocolate after dinner too. Awesome. I mean, it's a really nice treat to have because it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. So it doesn't give you those sugar cravings after you've eaten it, but it's like got a real like treat vibe to it. It feels like you're treating yourself, but you know, there's hardly any sugar with it, which eases the conscience, I guess. So I like it. I really like it. There we go. Right, now we're going to shear all of these, and that will probably break the... No, it won't break the shears. We're good. I feel like I was going to talk about something else when I started talking about dark chocolate. Oh yeah, because we were talking about waffles. So, like, tomorrow, Thursday, is my day off. Spend time with my family, and usually have, like, a treat. And had waffles, like, a couple of weeks ago. Oh... I tell you what I'm a sucker for, peanut butter and chocolate. What a combination. Take my money, that's what I say. In fact, I was on Amazon last night shopping for some stuff and found like a thing where, what this is just what happens when you talk and don't think. That's not a great way to shear them all. That's really not. That's not helpful. Oh, I'm going to figure out a way. I'm going to do something amazing now, okay? I'm going to dual wield and make this look totally intentional. So if I hold down... Oh, it don't work like that. What if I do it this way around? Also, the noises in me are really firing off. Okay, no. I can't even dual wield it. I can't even pretend like I'm a Minecraft pro. Jeez, this was the worst way to do it ever! Hashtag worst pumpkin farming thing ever. Let's catch up with these noises. We got another Han here, resubscribing for 31 months in a row. So as always, thank you for the entertainment, X. Been with you since Season 2. Gonna be with you to the end, mate. Appreciate it ever so much. What a lovely message. I hope to continue to entertain you. Hope you enjoy what we're up to, you know. You know, if ever I'm no longer the entertainment, feel free to, you know, move on. Like every now and then I get like a guilty message, guilty comment. I used to watch your videos all the time, but now I don't. It's like, it's cool. I get it. Like, you get interested in things for a while and then you find other things to be interested in. It's just life. That's just the way it goes. Metamorphic Mike is here doing cheers and throwing bits, saying, X, do you ever stand at your desk while you play or stream? Some of my co-workers swear by standing desks. I can't do it for long. It actually used to be all I did. I brought a standing desk, adjustable one, and I used to stand when I stream. And then I started to get like a bit headachy and didn't feel so good when I was standing and streaming. I really, you know, if it was a good day, it really was nice. But I sussed out what it was. I think it was just the heat. When it comes to the summer, it gets a bit stuffy in here, and when you're standing and streaming, it does take a bit more energy than sitting. So I figured I'll take a break and come back to it again. And now that it's winter, I really need to start doing that again. So hopefully I will remember. Maybe next time I stream, it will be a standing stream, and that will probably be based on what I've done in the day, how I feel. If I've had to sit at the computer for a lot, like that really like drains my energy sitting down for too long. I like to get up and move around, and so if I've had a fairly active day where I haven't had to sit here for too long, then yeah, I'll probably stand for the stream. Interesting. It's funny how you bring that up, because that's usually what we do. We got Darren Badger Spanner here doing cheers and throwing bits with no message, just a whole bunch of cheers. Thank you ever so much, Darren. Appreciate it as always. I hope you enjoy the live stream and have a good time. We got Yuri Kassar resubscribing for 10 months in a row, saying that's it, this is the last month. I'm done. I've joined your channel on YouTube instead. I actually watch your videos there just thanks to the awesome Minecraft inspiration. That's cool, dude. Thank you for supporting me over on YouTube. I appreciate that. And thank you for the 10 months you give me over here on Twitch. And of course, I hope you enjoy the stream. We got Pony Butts here doing more cheers and bits, saying headbanging to Smells Like a Freak Show while I get my gold back. Come at me, Mikey. I mean, where does the song name end? Like, Smells Like a Freak Show while I get my gold back would be a really... I think it's just Smells Like a Freak Show. I don't know, something about that amuses me. I thought you were going to say Smells Like Teen Spirit. I really was. Okay, apparently I didn't do 4 of these, so let's lay those down. And grab our Shiars. And then we're going to go around the island and drop these off. While we do that, while we head around the island though, I think it'd be a good idea to bring with us some materials for jobs that we need to do around that's not the way to do it. Yeah, jobs that we've got to do around the island. Got some hoppers in here. Gonna throw away some seeds, put my food back over there. And that's like at least a semi-organised inventory. Okay, we've got those things sorted out. So what I want to bring with me is over here. Somewhere. There it is. Sweet. Bring a water bucket, says Orbiterfold. I don't know what well, for clearing these things out, it's not as easy as you think, right? Because water will travel to the lowest point. So if I put a water bucket here, it will just flow over there. It's actually like kind of tricky to use water buckets effectively on terrain like this. If I put a water bucket here, it would probably spread out evenly. But I'm actually here just to get the snowmen down to begin with. That's the best use of my time, because as time passes by, these snowmen are going to be walking around and doing their thing. Imbalanced is here, subscribing. Imbalanced, thank you ever so much for your subscription. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the live stream today. Rubbish Dave says, just think about how unpleasant chat could be if it weren't for the mods. Thanks for all you do, mods. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Can we get a round of hearts in chat for the mods and all they do? Helping people out, replying to your questions, keeping chat nice and orderly. It makes a huge difference here, so thank you as always. You know it's appreciated. Joe, even Joe saying thanks, mods. And there go the hearts. Appreciate it, everyone. Appreciate it. Thundermaster is here, subscribing with the Amazon Prime. Thank you for your Prime subscription, Thundermaster. Hope you're enjoying the stream. X, can you share your thoughts about Article 13? Says Sonny. I was investigating that today. It sounds like something I might need to take really seriously, and perhaps even, you know, because there's quite a few Europeans here on Hermitcraft. We may even need to perhaps rally the troops a little bit and make the Hermitcraft audience aware of what it is. But I need to get more informed first, because we've had a lot of these things go by in the past, and this is the first one that feels like it's actually been passed, and there's potentially a lot of fear around what it might mean or what it could cause. It could potentially be very legitimate fear, or maybe it's been overblown. I'm not sure. I need to get a better perspective on it. But the YouTube people themselves are sending out emails literally saying this could be the end of YouTube in Europe. And that, you know, would obviously be terrible, because I love doing what we're doing here, and this article could change all of that. Now, what was the other thing I was thinking about? Darren says we still don't know how it's going to affect us because of Brexit too. I believe it gets activated while we're still in the Union, so it will affect us, I believe. But I could be wrong. Did we just catch up with the area we did earlier? That's fantastic. Anyway, it's alright through Brexit. Oh, don't go in the water, you derp. Well, that happened. Cow, get out of the water, please. It's that seagrass that's making you spin, isn't it? It's making your head spin. Don't eat the seagrass, cow. Yeah, this was a discussion we were having earlier. So I was saying You know, should we be concerned? Some other people were saying, don't worry about it, you know, we play Minecraft, Mojang will okay it, we'll be fine. And then we ended up talking about Brexit a little bit. Now, for those of you that don't know, I voted to leave, and I did not vote to leave based on any of the xenophobic vibes going around the whole Brexit thing. I was not really aware of that at all, because I wasn't particularly informed about what was going on. I just heard we had a vote to leave the European Union, and my first thought was yes, absolutely. Now, I'll explain it like I explained it to the hermits that I was discussing with earlier. Like, I have a particularly, let's say, skeptical, perhaps negative view of the EU. I have been first-hand at the expense of them passing laws that basically attack workers and workers' rights. Oh, there we go, Joe's sleeping, that's fantastic. And I see a powerful institution like that as something that serves the wealthy elite side of our society. And so for me, I don't want to be a part of that. I also don't like big conglomerates of power, monopolies, right? So if you have a big conglomerate of power, that power has to be yielded, and it can be yielded ineffectively or dangerously. So in my mind, it's better if we are the power is fractured, not us, so to speak, but the ability for a small amount of unelected people to make sweeping changes like they have with Article 13. I believe it is in our best interest to not have power consolidated like that into one place, because it might be used for good in one instance and then it can be used for bad in another. That's a very kind of oversimplified way of explaining things, but that's how I look at the EU. I look at it as kind of dangerous. And so I said that, like, no, someone said as a response to that when we were discussing earlier, our MEPs not elected, pardon my ignorance, says Joe. Within the EU, you have representatives that are not elected by any normal process. I believe that they may be elected by people you elected, which doesn't feel very fair. And there are certainly things that happen in the EU that feel very beyond democracy, I guess. Someone was saying though, like, that you know, something like Article 13. What if it happened in the UK? Okay, what if Brexit happened and we passed our own Article 13? Now, I don't think that by leaving the European Union we're automatically going to make good decisions. We are perfectly capable of making bad decisions as well, but the bad decisions don't reach as many people. So I would prefer if Article 13 was something that we had done after Brexit, as opposed to it being done by the European Union, because look how further reaching it is when the European Union do it. It affects lots of countries. And then there's the even bigger effect of when it affects one thing, there's like a chain effect, because let's say that all European creators and the audience in Europe can't use YouTube under Article 13. That hurts the economy of YouTube and potentially hurts it in a big way for people in other countries who use it. So anyway, I voted out of principle against having big conglomerates of power and not believing that the European Union is really in the favour of the people. I believe it's in the favour of the wealthy. And yes, the European Union has done good things for people. It's also done bad things for people. I think we need to dissolve power of that level. It's too much power to have in one place, especially with unelected people there. So that's kind of my feelings on it. As if we are going to get a pro-workers Brexit with a Tory government, says Idji. Yeah, but again, like I said, I'm not saying this idealistically. I'm saying it like, I know that my vote will be a burden on myself, but it feels like it's the right thing to do. I didn't vote for Brexit thinking all's going to be good in the future. I voted knowing that it's probably not going to be that great. You know, like, the world is still run, in my eyes, for the wealthy by the wealthy, but this is a step in the right direction for dissolving power and potentially bringing more power to the people, so to speak. That's and like, I'm not going to sit here and say I am right or anything. That's my perspective. I've just tried to give you it, you know. I don't think I would want the court judges to be elected by the people. Could make it another overtly political thing, says TWXN. I mean, there's this whole, like, voting itself is, I mean, we have democracy. It seems alright. There probably could be better systems. There probably can and has been worse systems. It's all, like, absolutism is the thing to avoid. This idea of, like, having a, oh, I know how to run everything. Like, yeah, sure you do. Like, stuff is way more complicated than you think. And when it comes to, like, electing people, there's always the argument of, like, should people who are uninformed be able to vote, or unintelligent to what they're voting about? And that might sound really unfair, and it is not proposed with really any sort of serious, but it's like a question that can be asked, right? You know, would society be better if more educated people were allowed to vote than others? I don't know what the answer to that is, but there is obviously, as we've seen with Brexit, some clear things to be said about how being informed about something, you know, matters. Because after we left the European Union, the next day, the biggest search coming from the UK was, what is the European Union? Now that's a failure of democracy, if you ask me, that the people didn't know what they were voting on. The problem with any type of intelligence tests for voting is that almost always wielded as a tool for racism. It could be yielded as a tool for racism, Joe. Racism could be a consequence of a system as well. Like in America, you have a history of unbalance, and that unbalance can bring forth apparent decisions, let's say, that are made. The decisions themselves might not have race in mind, but they have consequences for certain races based on the disproportion of like wealth and power based on the history in the country. Like this is the thing with everything. It's just it's always like just so much more complicated and never simple. That's why I like this idea of not being an absolutist, like not believing in having any absolute idea or answer for anything, because there's just always so much ambiguity and difference in the world. And there was me thinking politics and Minecraft don't mix, says RS Flicker. I mean, hey, it's just me that wants to talk about it, right? Joe says we need to take care of the consequences of ideals that don't seem to intrinsically target any one group. Let me think about that. We need to take care of the consequences of ideas that don't... Yes, yeah, we do need to take care of it. Absolutely. And Joe, yeah, if you like a mix of politics and Minecraft, Joe's got you covered as well. Yeah, we always need to be considerate of stuff like that. In my mind, I'm thinking I need to go do something, and that something is to go and gather more dirt to be placed down in the river. So we will... These junk chests are getting pretty junky, you know. Let's empty this one and chuck some junk into the next one. Ugh. Organising junk is the worst. Okay, so I'll take this one back to the base and we'll pick up some chests full of dirt. Joe Hill says a lot of good points, says Iris Flicker. I really like discussing this sort of stuff with Joe. Whenever we've gotten to that in meetings, or you know, when we're hanging out in the past, I always appreciate Joe's perspective. Joe's someone who clearly thinks about things from, or is educated in a way that's like really quite different from anything I've been exposed to, and I find that such a great thing to have, to be able to understand things from different perspectives. An idea can stand okay on its own, but its consequences must be considered. Yeah, agreed. Joe's getting Cub to tune in now. Oh, and I guess we could possibly ask Cub about pinching more. Oh, this is great. This is great. I'm starting to feel the wintry vibe. That's what I need to feel. I need to feel the wintry vibe around it. Where did I put the pumpkins? Jeez, I put the pumpkins somewhere. I live in an area where many folks had to fight and go to jail to have the right to vote, and I've tried to learn from them. That is something really, really, I don't know if important is the right word, but just something of hell. I'll just talk about it, and then it will probably make sense what I mean. Like, there is a lot that we have today that has been fought for in the past, and things that casually get dismissed in conversation, and I don't know, maybe stuff you chat with your friends about, like having breaks at work, for example, just sounds so basic. And then you hear about certain employees somewhere at a certain company aren't allowed to have breaks, and then you might hear of a comment or someone saying, well, you know, why do they deserve a break or whatever. Like, these are actually things that were fought for by people for a long time. There is a history of union and unionization, fighting for workers' rights, and giving you all these things like holiday pay, sick pay, and I don't know when it started, but it seemed like a lot of that perhaps slowed down in the 90s and has slowly been eroded at, and now we have horrible things like 0-hour contracts and stuff. And yeah, there are a lot of things that you have today that you may not realize people once like died and fought for. As Joe pointed out, having the right to vote was once that. And over here it's things that may seem as innocent as having your work breaks and getting paid when you're sick, or getting paid to have some days off. Exactly, X. People forget about history and what it thought for in the past, says Eric Land. Yes, they do forget. It's like a built-in thing though. Like, it will happen probably over and over again. One of the things that I always think about with global warming is that, as someone who believes that it's a real thing that's happening, and if you're someone who doesn't, like, we don't have to like bicker or fight about it for me to make this point. If it turns out to be true, then in the future, when like it's happened, no one and we are living in the consequence of it, there's not even going to be a discussion about it anymore. It's not even going to matter to talk about it. Like, it's just going to be reality. It's just going to be fact then, and you're just going to have to like live with it if, of course, something devastating happens because of our activities here on the planet. I don't know. I find just something about that like kind of fascinates me. So let's take the ones that are full. We got 3 full boxes for this project, and we're probably going to use all of it. Whoa, ghost key. And I got them, and now we can head back, and we have noises in the ear. So Thunder Master has subscribed with the Amazon Prime. Thank you ever so much, Thunder Master. We have Darren Badger Spanner here doing cheers throwing bits, saying, didn't think I'd have my perspective challenged quite so much on a stream, but I do respect your eloquence. What a lovely word. Darren, I actually listen to like a lot of like podcasts about things, and I've had the opportunity to talk on here. So I kind of like listen to podcasts, listen to informational videos, and pick up on how people talk about things. And it seems like I've actually done all right at translating like some of the ideas and thoughts in my head to this sort of semi-podcasting format where we play and we talk about stuff. It's nice to hear that reciprocated. Jeez, my brain is throwing fancy words at me today. Is reciprocated the right word? I don't know. But about having your perspectives challenged, like, that is something that I humbly welcome all the time, to have my perspective challenged. And as I said earlier about absolutism, like, trying not to hold like an absolute ideal about something in my head all the time, and be open to seeing things like a different way than what you thought possible. Find that really powerful, because a lot of just being alive, thinking about stuff, being a human, having thoughts and opinions, like, when you learn about how your own brain works, a lot of things are based on your brain like having this built-in desire to know, to have answers to things. And there's actually a lot of ignorance in experiencing existence to what existence is. And some of you are just like, why does he keep talking about this? Because why is that drowned head there of all places? I've talked about this time and time again, but there is there is some fascinating stuff going on in your brain with how you perceive reality and how, you know, you think and feel emotionally. And perspective challenged, Quake mode, says Turing Hux. Have you read Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari? I haven't, but I'm always interested in reading or listening to books. I found that audiobooks are fantastic. I can put them on, they hold my attention. If I read a book that I hold in my hand or my iPad, like, I can quite easily just feel a bit, I don't know, a bit distracted, or like have to keep rereading lines. Eric Land says, yeah, I'm very set in my ways in terms of which side I agree on, at least in a term of American politics, but I like to hear what others say and how they think to potentially give me a new view on things. That's really good, Eric. I think that's great. Like, if you sort of know where you stand but you're happy to be challenged, then that's a good thing. Like, I would very much tick the boxes for a lot of libertarian ideals and like left-wing sort of ideology, but I kind of at the same time think that we have to work together to get stuff done, right? And I think even though you have like one way of viewing things, if I were like a politician, I believe the powerful thing is in finding the way to work together with the other people. That's where the progress is made. I think if you want to have it all your way, you're going to upset people, because there's always going to be people with different views. You're going to run into problems. And I think compromise and meeting a middle is actually a pretty like fair way to move forward. You know, if you have an idea of like what way is forward and you won't accept anything but exactly that, you're probably going to run into so many obstacles. And I think as time goes by, like new generations, this is one of the things that I find interesting about like left and right. And as I said, being a left sort of person, I think that the left in a way is the way to go forward, but perhaps not at the rocketing pace that some people are asking for with political correctness and identity politics. I'm really not into that sort of stuff. But when you look at things historically, because I'm really fascinated by the past and learning about things that were done and said or whatever about something that happened in the past, that always interests me. I've watched a lot of documentaries and stuff over time. And when you go back through American history, because I'm really interested in American history, and you go and look at some of these left or right ideological, is that a word? Like presidents that were sitting at different times, you will find presidents in like the early 1900s who were considered very left, but their views on black people and racism in the country today would be abhorrent by people on the other side of the spectrum. And when I look at things like that historically, it feels like we've always been going in this direction, like towards the left, but it's always taken compromise to move us that way. And I feel like if we forget how to compromise, we'll end up going in the wrong direction, you know. When he says, I am libertarian and definitely not left-wing. Oh yeah, that's because there's that, oh. You see, I sometimes I think a libertarian as left-wing is the same, right? But then there's that chart, I forget what it's called, where they divide political opinion into into two spectrums, like left and right, and then libertarian and something opposite. I mean, but just by saying libertarian and left, I therefore may give you answers to questions I might actually answer differently, I guess, right? This is why I like discussing things directly, as opposed to, like, you see online that some people are calling, you know, people snowflakes or whatever because of what side of a spectrum they're on. And when you talk to each other like this, we fill in the blanks, we create the arguments of our supposed like opponents. This is like a social media phenomenon that we see a lot. I'm American. Libertarians are considered far right. Oh, so many Americans have found that odd. This may be one of those things where like interpretation of words and language breaks down a little bit. Because I would never have thought of libertarian as far right. Also, Suma, I am proud to be unique and a beautiful snowflake, says Joe Hills. I love your sense of humour, man. If you asked a libertarian in America if they were left or right, they would say no. Oh, okay. X, liberal and conservative. Maybe I got my words muddled. Is libertarian and liberalism different then? The left to right axis varies a lot from nation to nation. Yeah, I guess it will. This is what I'm on about all the time, like just how detailed everything can be and how ambiguous stuff is. Jeez, X. Massive reading derp, says Betty Baghdadi. Libertarians are so out for themselves that they won't pay taxes. Oh, right. Well, if that's like a... Yeah, I'm not cool with that. I mean, I guess if I could broadly, like, summarize, or perhaps how, if I were given, like, charged things that I think should be done, like, I would believe in... I believe in taxing the wealthy and big corporations. You know, they use the infrastructure that society has created, and yes, they contribute through it by creating jobs and stuff. It's just, I don't know, this is like a whole other topic to go into, but I believe in, you know, taxing the wealthiest and redistributing that wealth into society through education, public infrastructure and science, and that's kind of like what my key thing would be, right? Would be sort of the rebalancing of wealth and making sure it goes towards bringing those people at the bottom who are, you know, on the bottom rung upwards, and also benefiting all of society by investing in, you know, public services and education for people. That's kind of in a nutshell what I would be after, I guess. Ubus says that's pretty leftist. There you go. Are you a social democrat, says Max LMO2. I'm not really anything. Like, when it comes to it, I'm just interested in engaging and listen. When I say this is probably what I would do, that's like just naturally where my like heart leans towards, right? So I'm not trying to back that up by saying, hey, I've got all the evidence and the facts and the science and it will work. I'm just saying that's where my heart leans towards. But I spend a lot of time listening to all sorts of different ideals, and I've listened to the counter argument to that stuff, and you know, sometimes that stuff sounds pretty damn reasonable. I don't have a degree in economics, and some of the people who describe how economics work and how taxing the wealthy would be bad, like, sometimes the explanations given do sound pretty reasonable and fair. Another thing is, a lot of the time they do sort of also sound like they rest on our own human behaviour. Like, if we could modulate the behaviour of wealthy people more, then maybe those ideas would collapse. But I don't know, like I said, I try and listen to lots of stuff, and then that's sort of where... Buy Assuma degrees in economics. Oh, geez, I walked all the way back over there to get a pumpkin head, and I didn't get it. Are you trying to snow over the area? Because if you are, the torches are counterproductive, says Orchism. Yes, we are, but the torches will go eventually. I think for now we'll just focus on covering as much as we can, and when we get closer to that being done, that's when we'll be able to remove the torches. So we've got more noises in the year. Kent Paras has resubscribed for 4 months in a row, saying keep up the cool streams and videos. Lots. The more snowmen we get down, the better. Appreciate your support, Kent. We got Pony Butts here doing cheers and throwing bits, saying I'm not smart enough to have anything of interest to add to this topic. I just want to keep my pretty gold badge. Pony, that's quite alright. Look, if this, what we're talking about, is boring or whatever, that's absolutely fine. This is just something that I get to talk about. Okay, I get to talk about from time to time. I enjoy it, and hey, it's not every stream we talk about this, right? I think I should wander around the island a bit and spread these out, actually, because I feel like they're kind of getting a bit concentrated. I also really actually need to work on the border, like where this biome ends. And I'm hoping some of the other hermits will come up with some cool ideas for how we can make this border look really interesting. So over here we have, I'm going to get some dirt, we have the end of this right here. This river is going to be non-existent, but the next one we might actually add. So we might do some tearing away of terrain here. Okay, so that's like officially that river sort of cut off. Now this one here we might extend, and that would make this part here the flower terrain with one of Joe's benches. Okay, and then we got some floaty islands that will probably get removed. So this river right here might be the dividing one. And we might have to really shape it. Then there's some land up here that's going to tie it all together. Maybe we can make use of that. And it comes through to here. This hilly bit I think might be a bit of a problem. In Germany, the AfD about similar right to Trump is watched by our intelligence because it's considered anti-constitutional, says Irrigand Jemand. Yeah, I don't know too much about like what's going on over there, but that is probably the place where something like that is most likely to happen again, I guess, because of history and how people view history different. Differently. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to do two things at once and it's not working out very well. So this river, it kind of looks like this might be a riverbed that goes through this way. I was considering joining a party, so I went to the meeting that was at my school and I almost found their behaviour disgusting. They were laughing, making jokes at the other parties that weren't there, and the jokes didn't seem harmless poking to me. And it seemed like they almost got off listening to the things they put into for my country, even though it was good actions in my eyes. It just seemed tribal to me. Gave me a really bad feeling. Yeah, the tribalness of things, that's something I don't like either. Space. And yeah, like that's a huge turn-off for me. Like, whatever ideology it is, like, to just turn politics into laughing at people with a different view of the world to you, that's just nonsense in my mind. Ghost Rider says, why are you talking about German politics? I just joined. Someone brought it up. We've had a lot of political talk today, and someone brought up the movement in Germany. Okay, so I think this bit here is actually part of the snowy area, and that is where we're going to cut through. And then, do we have a pass up the top here? I think we kind of do. We have a natural little way across, so maybe that'll become part of it. There's a lot of chaos going on here that needs sorting out, and I think we're going to have to chop down a couple of trees to clear this area and kind of make this work, this divide. Thoughts on trans rights, says Escaper. I am totally fine with people like feeling a different way from what they are, or wanting to change their identity, etc. You know, but one of the things with all of that is that it gets talked about in some really strange ways, and sometimes even from the sides of like pro transsexual identity, like things get oddly difficult for the wrong reasons. I'm remembering a video that I watched, I think it was on Vox's channel, that was just, in my mind, a really nonsensical way to approach the whole thing, where they were sort of creating a video about how someone who, or people who were men who had transitioned to women were having trouble getting their license changed, right? And they sort of played it up as like a social injustice, racial profiling, things like this. And I found the whole approach so bizarre, because there are people that push back against this, but when your argument is like for something like trying to take something like getting your ID, driver's license or whatever it was, changed as being a built-in systemic transphobic thing, really blows out of proportion like a quite obvious and simple problem, which is if you're born one way and you have an identification card and now you want to say you're something different on your identification card, like this is like it's so problematic. Like that's something that can be abused, right? You want to be a criminal and have police struggle to identify you, you know, like you put down you're a woman on your driver's license when you're not. I mean, like, and that's, yeah, it's not great for someone who's struggling with these, you know, like problems, but like the solution the fact that there's a problem doesn't mean it's like personally against someone or targeted at someone, right? Am I making sense here? Because it was a while ago that I see this happen. And the whole reporting of it just was framed to make this situation like a racist, transphobic one, when it really just seemed like it was a clearly, obviously logistical problem. But anyway, I mean, I'm kind of getting a bit off the question here. I'm totally fine with it myself. Like, you know, it's not something that I've experienced myself. And I remember, I think I've talked about this before. I remember many years ago when I first became aware of what it was, I had a very knee-jerky reaction of, oh, I don't like this. And then I kind of reminded myself that I didn't really know anything about this, and I went and watched some videos on YouTube, and this is like way before this is like 2007. This is like before YouTube was really a thing. Someone was making a video talking about their experience as a trans person and what they had to go through. And I watched it, and I understood it from their perspective, and then I was just like, I'm fine with that. That's absolutely fine. I ain't got a problem with this. Like, this doesn't hurt anyone. But where I think things can become hurtful is, you hear these horror stories. I feel like I'm starting to talk about stuff that I haven't really fully assessed in my mind. Maybe I'll give some snow to Joe over here, and he can make some pumpkins while I work on this river bit, perhaps. I don't know, I'll see what Joe wants to do first. Surefire Tanis says, X, please don't talk about things you don't understand. Well, I'm putting forth my ignorance, and I feel like that's a fair thing to do when you have an opinion on something. One of the examples that I hear about is, and this is like someone's talking about someone on Twitter and then they're using it in an argument. So I don't really know if this is like, geez, Joe's got a lot of pumpkins here. But one of the things that stuck in my mind was a couple was talking about how like they wanted their kid to be trans and they wanted to see what their kid would identify as. And that is like, when I was talking earlier about like different sides working together and having compromise, that to me is a very steeped in a direction view to have of raising a child, and society is probably not ready to go. Many people in society would not be ready to go that far. I think the idea of introducing gender neutral toys is quite smart. Like, you are as a person the sum of all of your experiences and all the things that you experience. And this means anything that you come into contact becomes part of you. So as a child, if you were given aggressive toys, or, you know, your room was painted black and all your toys were like, you know, I don't know, guns and painted in bloods, and it's obviously going to have an effect on you. So these, they call them stereotypes. I think they are, like of, you know, boys play with cowboys and Indians, girls play with Barbie dolls, blue is a boy's colour, girls is a pink colour. Like, if we want to think that is normal or not, the fact that we just indoctrinate children into it straight away means you're never really going to know. If you took those things away from children and kids kept asking, oh, I want, you know, Barbie dolls and pink toys, and the boys kept asking, oh, I want this and that and blue, then, you know, then that would be an indicator that it's actually there. But to me, it's like, that's probably not the case. It's probably really like a cultural thing. I think Joe's taking on the snow and the pumpkins. That's great. So while I waffle, we'll continue to go over here and mine up some more blocks. By the way, I'm behind on the noises in the ear. We have I Love Cats saying, worry not, the cat has arrived. Cats, thank you as always for your cheers and bits. Do you have anything you want to wage in with us? Duke of Fook says, I doubt they wanted their child to be trans. It was more likely they wanted to raise their child gender neutral and let them make their own decisions. Well, okay, so this is the thing. Like I said, when I heard of this, it sounded very weaponized, and I heard it through someone else, and they were putting it through this lens of this whole trans thing is terrible. Look, there were these people on Twitter who wanted to, you know, do this with their child, but the way it was framed was not nice. Like, if it were genuine, it would be of concern, right? Like, it was the way this person talked about it made it sound like the parents genuinely wanted their kid to not identify with their birth gender, let's say. And that was, you know, it's just such a crazy thing. But what's behind that is ideas, right? And ideas have power and strength. They, you know, inform or define how we feel and how we take action in the world. And so when it comes to the whole trans thing, there are some like dangerous sounding parts of it that I have heard been discussed and talked about, and I am actually really like probably not comfortable with saying too much about it, because like I said, I've heard it in obviously weaponized ways, right? This is another thing when you hear people talking about stuff, you've got to realize that some people try to push their will across a lot with what they're talking about, you know, and so I always take stuff with a bit of a pinch of salt when it comes to things like that. It's like, yeah, okay, these people on Twitter, like, is this legit? Is this literally just one person and apparently, you know, or two people because they're a couple, that's enough credence for us to be concerned? I don't know. Ponybutt says people who are against trans people should know that biological sex is as much a spectrum as gender is. It's not as simple as XY equals boy, XX equals girl. There are people who are XY with function in uterus. There are people that have XX ovaries and testes. That is not where I thought you were going to go with that, Pony. So I listened to a podcast with Sam Harris and a woman who was really well informed on the science behind gender, and some of the stuff she was saying about it was really mind-blowing as for the concept of having a spectrum. Unfortunately, I can't really remember the specifics. I just remember, like, for me it was always like, you know, you got men, you got women, and then you got people who feel differently than what they biologically are. And yeah, there are some like rare cases of people being born with multiple genitals, but then behind all of that there was you know, there's obviously like deeper science to it. And on that podcast, unfortunately I can't tell you who she was. It was a couple of months ago as well, so if you listen to Sam Harris and perhaps want to dig through the archive, you might find her if you read the descriptions of his videos. Anyway, yeah, and some of the stuff she was saying was like mind-blowing. It was like, whoa, I didn't know all of this was like known, and yeah, it's not as straightforward as you think. X, do you listen to a lot of Sam Harris, says Raverin? Yeah, he's one of my most favourite people to listen to, because I find him to be very clear, expressing himself, very articulate, very good at saying something sort of in a way of showing you where he is standing and like what it is we're trying to get by discussing. And you know, like his discussions with other people are really great, because he manages to, you know, every question, every avenue they go down clearly outlines people's views, where he stands on things, etc. I don't know if bias is the word to use, but it feels like it's like a great way of like eliminating bias or showing where bias is. It's just a very great way of conversating, I guess. Apparently we're getting a raid. Is it a Hypno raid? Because double L86 says, hey Hypno. It's a Hypno raid. Welcome Hypno and all the peeps of the Hypno chat. We are... Oh, there you go. All but a folder's got it for you. Waking Up with Sam Harris, number 135, Navigating Sex and Gender. So number 135 of Sam Harris's Waking Up series. You can find that on YouTube. The stuff they talk about in gender on that one and the science behind it is fascinating. If you have any interest in this sort of stuff, that is a really great podcast. X, do you believe personal privacy is more important than national security, says Sheppleface. That's a really fascinating question. I have not really thought about that stuff in the context of weighing them up side by side like that. I always, whenever I hear about national security, like it always, I don't know, it always strikes me as being a bit of a con, as a way to like abuse power. But that's just a knee-jerk reaction. I've never really given that much thought. That's actually a topic I'd really like to learn more about, I think. Because it does make sense, doesn't it? Like, you know, we have these ideas that everyone should have rights and personal liberties, but then sometimes a greater goods may need us to scale back those rights, and then who yields the power to do that is the other question that comes to mind. Like, you know, whose national security is it? You know, would you feel like, imagine someone different was in power in your country, then you might feel differently about national security. That's a crazy question. Codewater, that is a pretty despicable thing to say. I mean, sounds like you're trying to make a nasty joke. I mean, if you're being dead serious, like, surely a question like that can be framed in a nicer way. I'm going to leave this bit as is. I think we've done our little tiny bit getting rid of the border here, because this area is a bit messy, and I think it's for whoever wants to make the transition between the two areas to come up here and figure this one out. What I do want to get rid of is that right there, and I do have ender pearls. There's a couple of floaty bits we're going to get rid of here. National security is often invoked when some political is trying to sell you something horrible. Just another buzzword nowadays. That is certainly a word that could be used incorrectly, but I think we understand the concept if it were to be used seriously. Oh no, there's more. And there's stone. And there's a fair bit of stone. So another question, what's your opinion on mental illness like depression and anxiety? I feel like people without those diseases joke about it without realising it has effects on people with mental illness. I think mental illness is an absolutely real thing. I think we need to look at ourselves as not being infallible, but realise how we are emotional, how we are emotionally needy, and how our minds work. And yeah, I think it's absolutely a real thing, and I'm kind of glad that it gets more and more brought out into the open and people feel more and more comfortable about talking about it, because you know, there is answers, there's help out there for people suffering with certain things, and the more open we can be about it, the more we can learn about it and help people. I don't think privacy and national security is necessarily a zero-sum game. It's been very wrongly handled in the last few decades, and that is the reason people now look at it as one of those always puts down the other. Yes, Bunro now. Yeah, I like what you said there. Yeah, the way in which if you have more faith in the system, if you have more trust in it, then when you hear about national security, it would probably have more of a strong feeling to you of like, that's a good thing, that's a right thing, right? But you know, I wouldn't feel that way. I don't really trust our government's objectives that much. We got a noise in the ear. It's Canaret subscribing with Amazon Prime. Canaret, thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream, having a good time, hanging out with us today. We're on the deep talk today, aren't we? Joe the Pro says, facts don't care about your feelings. Hashtag Shapiro. Well, the thing with that is facts themselves can often be pretty hard to pin down and define. Especially if you want to talk about economics or politics, it's all a big sphere of theory and opinion and interpretation of things. A toaster says, yeah, nowadays people are more tolerable than they were, but unfortunately there's still some people who still joke about mental illness. I wouldn't worry about it so much. Like, we're still on that path, we're still going in that direction, right? Like, this is what I talked about earlier in relation to some stuff. I can't remember specifically what it was, but it was to previous presidents and things that they had said about black people and slavery. Like, the previous, like 100 years ago or more, the position of being on the left and being a progressive looks abhorrent today. It's really fascinating how, like, there's been like this left and right, yet the middle has always changed position over time. Do you believe in objective truth, says TWXN? I think I do in terms of like mathematics and perhaps science, but not, I don't think there's really objective truth in like how we run our world and theories of how people should act and behave. Like that just seems, all that stuff seems to me like a massive web of theories, opinions, perspectives, emotions driving things. Statistics are facts, says Crispy Sponge. Are they? Like, so if we get a statistic of something, I mean, it kind of is a fact, but like, let's say you go and poll 1,000 people, what are your opinions on this thing or that thing, right? You get an answer. And the problem is, we don't then, in fact, this is the better way to express it. Our brains and the way we deal with stuff are really bad at handling statistics. We don't think statistically. If you hear, you know, 900 out of 1,000 people think this president is wonderful or something, and you believe that as well, you're like, oh, I'm one of those 900 people, then that probably reinforces your feelings, and that statistic feels true to you and accurate of what you think. Now, it depends on where those 1,000 people were polled. Were they all polled in the same place? Is it a broad spectrum? Did they try to include different genders, different races, ethnicities? And then if you do try and include different races, genders and ethnicity, how do you define what a fair balance of those things actually is and what it even means? Statistics are measurements taken into a representative part of society, says Murray Lowe, and they can never be truly accurate. And they also, like, the statistics of that nature are of people who can be ignorant. Like, imagine if you got a poll of like, this is what these people think about this and that, and yet what you weren't told is that we interviewed the most uninformed people, or we polled the most uninformed people we could find, right? I mean, obviously, statistics, polling, these sorts of tools have benefits and things that we can practically use them for, but they're not absolute truths. No, I wouldn't say statistics of that nature are absolute truths. Definitely statistics of people's opinions on things, not truths. I don't know what other sorts of statistics could technically be truths or not. Crimson says Republicans are the one who ended slavery. Lincoln was Republican. Yeah, if you look at the history though of the Republican and Democratic parties, don't they switch over and over? And anyway, like that was something that happened, you know, hundreds of years ago. It's not like they're the same people today. The two parties switched at Nixon, says Cassie the Python. I think they've switched several times over history. Support Gay says any statistics that doesn't show its sample population cannot be trusted. Even if it shows you its sample population, like the brain is very bad at thinking in terms of statistics. Like you would probably absorb the information of statistics more emotionally than you would as actual like things that you could imagine in your head. I read a whole book on this about how our minds work and how they deal with different sorts of information. It was really fascinating. I sometimes wonder if I just sound like nuts, you know, like what are you on about? Or like, has a door been opened for me? Or by explaining it this way, do you see it the same way? Actually, let's just on everything I just rambled about statistics, does that in any way make sense to you? What I'm saying is like, maybe you don't agree, but does it make sense that like, you know, ideas of like polling statistics are kind of flawed in the way that people who give opinions would, you know, not necessarily have an accurate view of things, and that the way we would incorporate that into our mind wouldn't necessarily be accurate either. We got a few yeahs and a few yeses. That is, of course, nice to see. I'd like to think I'm able to articulate it well enough. You haven't made sense in years, says Mr. X. Jeez, Mr. X! Come on now, give me a break. I'm just a turtle. You can use most statistics to back up any argument relating to the data, says Hunt Ghost. Maybe in the context of science and maths, it does. In the context of politics and opinions and the more theoretical stuff, I'd say, not so. Elvis Morrissey says, I took a master's level statistic class and saw how it can be skewed. It can be skewed on a very basic level. Whenever here's an exercise for everyone. whenever you're next watching something and perhaps an opinion is being reinforced by some sort of numbers, right? Like, oh, but 80% of this and 80% of that. Just try and run a scenario in your mind of like how this may actually not be that representative. Like, so many times can percentages and, you know, and whatnot be kind of skewed. I'm trying to think of a clever example, but I can't really. It's just something that I've learned to notice, and when you learn to notice it, you can catch it out quite often, that people having arguments and discussing things and throwing up numbers. Numbers can be, you know, you can make a number look good if you present it in a different light. You know, hey, 1,000 people came out today and said, you know, I'm doing a good job with this streaming. But then you go, well, hang on a second. Okay, 1,000 people. 10,000 people came out and said, Asuma, you're rubbish. Stop streaming. And then you're thinking, oh, well, you know, 10,000 people. Oh, but then did you know 10 million people came out and they said, I don't care about this Asuma fella. I just don't care. It's not important. So we started off thinking, oh, that Asuma fella, he's great at streaming. Then we learned, oh, no, actually, people don't like him. And then we realised, actually, most people don't care. You know, you can be selective with information. I don't know where this is going now. Oh. Anark is here resubscribing for 12 months in a row. That's a Goldie face in chat. Thank you ever so much, Anark. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the stream. We got Codewater 208 subscribing with the Amazon Prime as well. Thank you ever so much, my friend. Appreciate it, and hope you enjoy the stream. Hey, that's what we need. Some more pumpkin men in the area. A lot of people seem to think mental illness is just a matter of happy or sad or state of mind. They don't pick up on the illness part. Sometimes it comes down to actual chemical imbalances in your brain. You know, if it does or it doesn't, like, I think we should be able to be open about feeling sad or happy, or like trying to think of like what the attitude that is different to mine. Let's actually, you know, we should always let anyone who has any sort of opinion speak up, in my opinion. So if anyone in chat who is skeptical of mental illness or thinks it's a joke, something like that, feel free to speak up. Like, no, hey, I would genuinely like to hear an opinion of that sort, so I can perhaps better articulate like my thoughts about it. I'll keep my eyes on chat now and see what. Also, Joe's been saying things as well. Understanding relative likelihoods is the best we can do. I'm dumping the extra pumpkins in the orange shulker box by the pumpkin pillar, Asuma. Thanks. Awesome. We got to lay down some more of these fellas. I think I'm going to stop with the filling in now. I will fight the skeptics, says Pony. Pony, you'll fight anyone. Except the fact that some mental problems can't be cured. They perhaps can't be cured as we currently know it. Like, neuroscience may be able to find solutions to certain illnesses. And yeah, some people are pointing out that some illnesses aren't about happy and sad. Well, yeah, obviously. Definitely. But I think we're talking about this within the realm of how we're having this broader concept about, or sorry, discussion about how people feel depressed or have anxiety, etc. I'm actually not picking up on any like people really saying anything different to what I've been saying. Being sad or depressed is socially unacceptable because it's outside the norm, says Vans Cruz. I mean, but everyone experiences it. We have the words. Like, unless you mean something different by describing the norm, the fact that it's in the language kind of means that it's known that we can feel that way, right? Where is the bed? Here's the bed. I have a mixed political spectrum. I'm fine with gay marriage, but I don't like this whole gender spectrum. I think everyone has a right to freedom, but gender and sex were interchangeable a while back, but now there is a difference. I'm pro-life. A life is a life, and I think that the third wave, feminism, is just to make women more powerful than men, and mental illness is a bad thing. And the rest of that got cut off. Onto the third wave of feminism. I think I understand maybe concerns with that effect. Geez, that is an absolute pillar. Something that I'm observing in a lot of discussion on the left side of things, is that, like, I believe, like, let's use slavery as an example, right? Something horrendous has happened in the past, and now we have to correct it. And I believe that the way in which to correct imbalance and indifference and head towards that place where things are more equal is to figure out what's equal and then push towards the equal. But what I see a lot of is things like equality of outcome, where you don't push towards the middle or the equality, you push past it. So it's like, well, these people had this happen to them, and now, you know, we've got to make it even better for them. Like, how difficult is this to describe? But like, I see a lot of ideas being discussed where it's like we're not actually aiming for the middle here. You're aiming past the middle because there's an indifference. And I think, like, in terms of equality, like, on one side, you know, bad things happened. But if you go to the other side of it and not the middle, it's just the same thing. It's positive discrimination in some sense. It's still the same form of thing, just happening in a different way. I guess I need to get more snow now. Brickmaster Joe says, assume the only problem with the way you discuss is that while it's reasonable, I guess, by listening to people who don't have a stake in, say, trans people's gender, and any trans in this chat are going to stay being vulnerable in not great ways. Well, I mean, personally, I think anyone should be able to talk about anything and have an opinion on it, right? I also think it's probably a good idea you state your ignorance, things you do and don't know about. I feel like I've been pretty, like, open and honest with my discussion, like, of what I think about this sort of stuff, how I've learned about it or whatever, and not claiming to have all the answers. But, like, I would consider myself a pretty, like, tolerant and welcoming person. I wouldn't consider what I've discussed here, or I hope what I've discussed here hasn't, like, made someone feel uncomfortable, because that's definitely not the purpose of it. Assume sometimes you have to overshoot to get back towards the middle because of the historical norms. Yeah, okay, so I disagree with you there, Joe. That's my concern. I feel like the overshooting is a dangerous thing to do, in the way that it upsets people who feel it's wrong. And I don't know, it sets off the alarm bells for not doing things right in my mind. Okay, I'm not sure if I agree with this. So this is a difficult argument. Obviously the sexual harassment bit isn't on at all, but this is a whole argument that I listened to recently. Like, there's a lot of talk for equality in the tech sector of the world, right? To have more women in tech. But there are these arguments that you might hear, like, oh, you want equality? Well, how many women bricklayers are there? You know, it's literally like less than 1%. And like the thing with trying to strike a balance of equality in a workplace between men and women is that it's equality of outcome that you're asking for, and this is what I don't agree with. I don't agree with equality of outcome. I believe in equality of opportunity, where we make sure everyone has the opportunity to do what they want to pursue. Whoever you are, like if you want to be in this field, there shouldn't be any disadvantages stopping you getting there. But those sorts of like plays, to me, it's the whole overshooting the middle thing. It's like you're trying to force something to happen, or pushing for something, trying to fix the problem by putting the eggs in a different basket, rather than just figuring out the way for the eggs to get to the basket they want to be in. I guess that's not a terrible analogy. So one of the other things is that it's backed by genetics, our genes, that we are by gender predisposed to different things based on the way testosterone and other chemicals are pumping around in our bodies. Like, there are different chemical things happening between men and women, and it's very, very obvious how in society they shape who we are and what we want to do with our lives. Some of that may be down to, you know, stereotypes or like gender norms as they're described, but there is also the science and the biology, and there are, you know, things happening that we have to, like, we can want equality whilst recognizing that we're different, I guess is what I'm saying. I like pancakes. Let's have a look. Because we don't have a good mechanism to fire those bosses with tenure. Well, men and women have equal opportunity to be sexually harassed by their bosses, but the impact causes more women to drop out. I mean, I'm not really speaking on the harassment side of things. You need to recruit them more aggressively. Yeah, you see, that's not what I agree with. Like, if that means that someone who, you know, let's say you have to now recruit women over men, like, that means some men who may have wanted something get left out or whatever. I don't know how to say it. That just don't seem to work in my mind. It should be that, like a kind of best person for the job scenario, right? But who's applying for that job? Everyone. Everyone should have the opportunity to apply for that job. And everyone who's applying, we should have made a society good enough for everyone to have a good education and opportunity to do the things they wanted to do, to become the person they wanted to be. But you can't force it. That's what I think. You can't make the end result forced. I don't know. And when it comes to the whole sexual harassment thing, I really don't know, like, what to think about that, because I've barely gotten into those sort of subjects, I guess. Let's pick something from chat. Reeded Ron says, pretty much innate gender behaviours are why dysphoria can be so debilitating. There were no... Oh god, the chat is moving so fast. I wonder if I can bring that message back. No, jeez, I can't, sorry. Chat, right, when we have topics like this, big messages will get lost, because everyone is sharing big messages, and my small chat screen moves so fast. Maybe I should try and pick... why are people so focused on the collective? Why can't we just have individualism? Awesome PG, we are literally living in probably some of the most individualistic times in our history. Collectivism, and that is very much more of the way things used to be, especially here in Britain. We are now like a way more individualistic society than we've ever been. X, wish there was a way to pin messages, says Dream Druid. That would be nice, yeah, if I could click on it and make something happen. Oh, the Streamlabs devs contacted me asking me about things that I need. I need things for my chat. I am so putting that on my list. Sweet. Yes, they contacted me. And asked if there were things that I needed and they could help out. So that would be one of them, I guess. Brickmaster Joe says, individualism is very much screw you, I got mine, I can't live by that. Oh, I thought we meant like being an individual, these terminologies, right? I'm not for individualism, I'm definitely for working together. So apparently everything I just said made no sense because I'm getting the wrong terminology in my head. I'm for us working together. I guess individual identity was more what I was thinking of. You know, like people are way freer to express themselves and be unique, or, you know, stand apart from a crowd, whereas history would show us that people were very much more herded together and having group identities. But on individualism, like, I can't get behind like barely any idea of like individualism in terms of, as someone said in chat, screw you, I'll fend for myself. Like, especially when you live in the society we've built for today, I don't understand how like cooperation working is not at the top of your mind. I mean, I know that society doesn't work for everyone, but the amount of benefits that have been provided to the majority of us surely would say that, you know, individualism's pretty naff. You're not going to achieve as much as we have as a society if you're working on your own. Come on, I want to land on it. Oh, jeez, Joe, you've made made a problem here. I'll probably just pillar up and then pillar down and get all of them. Also, Joe said something in chat. We love you anyway. Assume it's great that you are demonstrating the struggle to express these complex concepts. You have a good heart. Thank you, Joe. Kind message. Appreciate it. But sometimes to get forward as a society... Oh, that one jumped. Well, and then it's gone. There's so many big messages. Everything that I read just disappears. Even if it's a small one. Do you want to build a snowman army, says Metamorphic Mike. Yes, we are very much trying to build the snowman army at the moment. And this is good enough, actually. Oh, we've got the instant mine. That's sweet. That's sweet. Ponybutt says, I've got to say, I love Tango's input on the conversation. Tango's just keeping it simple, you know. Just keeping it simple, though. He's just thinking about pancakes, you know. I want a pancake now. Right, we've got to collect these items as well. Oh, there we go. Joe's keeping in the beds. I'm going to drop these things off over here. Make some space for the pumpkins. Storksan says... there was a great TED talk on globalism versus nationalism, but it does not have to be one or the other. Yeah, it doesn't have to, does it? I mean, globalism doesn't have to spread everywhere, but we're getting very spread out on these topics now. Hey, Asuma just tuned in, says Some Onions. Some Onions, welcome to the stream. What a lot of people don't understand about gender is making women equal in terms of having the same chances of men in economy, politics, etc. is that our society is designed by men. Women having the same possibility of men in making career in economics does not mean they're equal to men because they have adjusted themselves to the male norm. You can see it in human rights as well. The norm is the male perspective. Is it fair that women have to adjust to be male? That's a very interesting comment. That's getting real deep into some stuff now. Yeah, our society has very much been set up by... oh, it's so complicated. It really is. Now I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how you would balance that. Cool, there's this idea of like equal representation, right? That I've watched. This is another Vox video that kind of annoyed me. I think it was something to do with yeah, this is okay. So this is a Vox video that I watched where they showed the recent elections have elected a lot more women, but they kind of like they put a downer on, like the vibe wasn't good, right? They were sort of saying it's something, but it's not enough, and they were talking about equal representation. And that this is the population of women in the country, and then this is the population, or sorry, the amount in comparison of represented electives. And I just thought instinctively that that's surely not the way to look at it, because again, like I talked about this equality of opportunity idea. Like, would you want 50% of your population being elected to represent if that meant that the people that you got in power weren't actually interested in that, right? Like I guess I see it like how do we actually things in ourselves play out naturally, right? Without you being put into a category because you need to fill a quota. But then as someone described, like the environment in which that is happening has already been tilted in one direction. So I was watching that thing and just thinking, this is not how you do it. Like I would look at it as equality of opportunity. Like, forget the result. The opportunity should be that anyone who wants to run can. And then I guess there's another added element of then, well, who votes for these people is going to have biased opinions. It's so complicated, this stuff. Jeez. It's so messy. I don't even know what I think anymore. One of the things that I really love, though, is... oh, what's his name? Rolls? I hear it all the time, and I always forget it. Anyway, this one philosopher came up with this idea called the veil of ignorance, which is that you set up society based on the idea that you have... when you are born, you have no preconceived notion of where in the world you're going to be, what gender you're going to be, what ethnicity... what you're going to think or feel about when you're alive, and then trying to make decisions based on the idea that when you're born you would have no idea where you would start. Thomas Rolls, says Blaze Flaming Gaming. Is it Thomas Rolls? Rolls is right, but I wasn't sure about the other name. Each US congressional district has an average population of about 700,000 people. I'm sure there's a few women, each capable of serving in Congress. Alright then, so let's say this is okay, this is super tricky because there's like loads of different variables and things I'm thinking of. But what I think about in my mind is like, what would actually play out? Like, if there was like a truly level playing field for us to play out on, would we, as men and women, naturally gravitate towards the same professions? Like, would it be that, oh yeah, 50% of us want to go into politics and the other 50% over there do as well, and then we have equal representation as they describe it? I got this instinct that I guess I don't see it like that. Like, I don't. And then I guess in a population of 700,000, there would probably be enough men and women interested in it to then fill in those seats. But I don't know. It's sounding like it's getting like a tricky amount of variables to consider. And mind, if you expand the pool of candidates outside of the traditional political insiders, we see a more diverse representation. Yeah, I kind of understand that actually. This is now, we're now just talking about something I would like to hear other people talk about at this point. White men overwhelmingly pursue a political career track because it seems more viable to them than other folks. Yeah, see, that's so fascinating because, yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, it's more viable, it's more likely that you can succeed, therefore it's more inviting. Oh, this is so crazy. All this stuff is super crazy, right? I am looking at chat, by the way, just trying to pick out a message. Unwoven Rainbow says it's hard to speculate about that kind of thing, especially when some people don't want to take the easy route and do what is easy for them, whereas other people are driven to do stuff more difficult to them. Yeah, this is the other. There's so many angles, right? Like, if you want to weigh up fairness in politics, like, is it fair that someone might want to run just for their own selfish interests, and then other people might want to run because they want to change the land for their people, etc. Yeah, the tree's looking great. It's looking wonderful. I think, to be fair, it feels like it's really there. There's the layers, then there's some thrown in blocks to randomize it. I think maybe all it needs with the randomization is perhaps some randomization to the edges. The circles are quite well defined. So that might be a good thing because it's a mix of both. It really kind of looks like it's ready for ornaments, and that'll really pop it and bring it to life. That's actually really fantastic. It's a lot of work to build something like this. Clement Tarico says, we live in a society. We live in a society, we do indeed. Joe says, yeah, I'll cut into the circles. Oh yeah, cutting into them might help as well. Also, down the bottom here, maybe add some hanging bits, but dude, it's looking super good. Red Skimmer says, X, love the deep takes, but can we have some pancakes? I like that rhymes. Oh god! Oh god! What? What? Dude, get in the lava. I was just jumping around and then it was like red hot stuff. That would have been awful right about now. Okay, I feel like I need to get back in this safe area. Look, anyway, at the end of the day, peeps, like as I said earlier, with all of this stuff, I got, you know, I'm not a prejudiced, racist person, anything like that. I'm all about kumbaya, all together, let's all get along, you know. And in discussing all of this stuff, like, all I ever really want to do is, you know, exchange ideas, try and get a broader understanding of stuff, and I mean it all in a good way, you know. So whatever you heard today, if you agree, disagree, you know, Hopefully it's all in good spirit, I guess is what I'm saying. We're going to wrap up the live stream right here, my friends. That is the end of today's stream. I do hope you have enjoyed it. I really love these sorts of waffles. We should do them more often. They're good. I need to be more informed about what I'm going to chat about, though, that's for sure. I wasn't expecting any of this. Hadn't thought about some of this stuff in a while. It looks like we got a Rendiggity Dog who might be streaming on the Hermitcraft server. I can actually find out for you. He's not streaming on the Hermitcraft server, but I'm going to send you over to the Rendiggity Dog anyway. And we're going to wrap up the stream right here. Thank you everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. I appreciate it as always. And I'll see you soon with another one. Bye bye.